Okay, I'll work hard. No,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll start the session. I got
Yep.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Mahesh.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. So hi all. Welcome to the session. I was just speaking to Kamal about the career prospects. Uh, any question? We'll wait for a couple of minutes before we start the session because I see only 7 joined so far, and we had somewhere around 100 registrations. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, right, you can post them. I'll be happy to answer before I start. Okay, Vidya is asking, does the live projects help us after this course? They will help a lot. Actually, you'll have a feel of what exactly happens in the actual project. We may not be able to replicate the 100% of live environment, but how the tasks happen, how the breakups happen, how do you do them, how do the coordination activities happen, what are the real time problems that you might face, so you'll get a feel about it. See, generally the interviews or the interviews will be more on how do you tackle the real time problems. A simple example is you found a defect. How do you analyze whether it's of severity? So you know the severities and priorities, right? So I got a defect. How do you define severity? Whether it's of 1, 2, 3 severity, and what's the priority of fixing them? So that you should mention in the tool, whichever tool you're using. So you should understand. You will understand that if you have really worked on any of the project, and you analyze whether you can mark it as a severe one and see priority one. So that comes with your real time experience only. I know that even if you're what do you say, if you know about it, uh, but still you can manage. But if it is a real time one, then you will have a fair idea about what should be done. It's an immediate one. The prompt response will be there. So live project will help you to simulate that kind of environment. All right. So I would suggest to have live projects, more live projects. Okay, Jignesh, I am from non-IT background. How this course helped me about to get into testing field? See, even if you are from non-IT background or you're not an engineer or you're just a graduate, testing is one such field where anyone can come and set their benchmark. Set, I mean, they can prove themselves. The reason being, right, testing is more of what do you say, the functional knowledge. Whatever is the project that you are testing, right? You should know the flow of the project, the purpose of the project, what is the end usage of that particular project. That if you are non-IT, it will help you. I mean, I'm not saying that IT people will not do it. If you are non-IT also, you will know what it is. Simple way of telling. We all go to banks, right? So we know the basic functionality of banks, the banking. So what's the core banking? What is salary accounts? How do you do the fund transfer? What are the ways of fund transfer? The same, if you are working if you are testing a banking application, this knowledge will help you in preparing the test cases effectively, right? So you will be knowing more areas where you need to test the application. So even if you are from a non-IT background, uh, it does not, it is not a hindrance for you to be into testing. Okay, it's more about the functional knowledge of the application and how do you apply it, how logical are you. All right. All right, so let's start the session for today. So I'll define the agenda for today's session. So today we will be discussing about K levels and the syllabus for foundation level certification and Q&A. So this is the last paid session just for your this thing. So please post as many questions as possible so that you will be able to make a right decision of taking this course. And I would suggest, as I see the count or the number of people who are just starting is more than the experience. So I would suggest this will help you in taking a right decision. Okay. So now this entire foundation level is on majorly on K levels. K level is nothing but knowledge levels. That's it. So knowledge. So knowledge levels is defined in 4 types for foundation. One is, do you remember the terminology of testing? So that is called as K1. Okay. Second is, do you understand the concepts? Okay. So if a question is posed, are you able to understand it or not? So that's K2. And the third one is, are you able to apply whatever knowledge you got? Okay. So the application, whether you are able to apply the concepts or not, that would be tested as part of this. That's K3. The last one is, how do you analyze a problem statement? Okay. That's K4. So these are the 4 different areas that would be tested as part of this certification. All right. So we will give you an example for each of this. Okay. And we'll let you know what is that will be exactly tested as part of this. Okay. Now let me open a sample examination that will help you. So the first and foremost thing is you understanding the terminology. So terminology like what is functional testing, okay, what is severity, what is priority, and then something like black box testing, what's white box testing, what's the difference, what is quality assurance, so on and so forth. So the general testing terminologies, it would be those questions will be there in the K1 section. Knowledge level. That's the basic. So do you understand the terminologies or not? That would be verified. The second thing is understanding the concepts. Okay. So there's something called as static testing. Then you got boundary value analysis. So say suppose what's boundary value analysis? Anyone has a fair idea about boundary value analysis? Anyone has a fair idea? No? Yes, no? Okay. Let me take it myself. Yeah, range in values, correct. So I have a field, login field. I'll take the simple example. I got login page. Login page has username and password. Okay. Now username accepts only maximum 12 characters. That's your maximum limit. All right. So if I want to verify that, what should I do? What would be my possible testing? How will I test it? What I'll do simply is I'll give a username with 12 characters, less than 12 characters, more than 12 characters. So with 12 characters, it should pass. With 11 characters, it will pass. With 13, it will not allow, and I'll get a error message. Okay. So this is how simple I'll be validating this particular requirement. Okay, so do I understand that? That would be validated under this. The same example will be asked in a different way, and do you apply the concepts or not? So that would be your K3 test. So how will the question will be there on the BV is, how many test cases minimum I will have to write for this testing. Okay, so I'll have this requirement. So what is the minimum number of test cases that should I write? I forgot the last one. I'll not enter anything and click on enter. It should also fail and error message should show. For this example, what are the minimum number of test cases that I should write? 4, right? So that would be tested by in the applying the concepts. So this is apply, whether you are applying or not. This is whether you are understanding concepts or not. Okay, now the last one is analyze. Here, say tomorrow I am saying that apart from 12 characteristics, it should be alphanumeric or it should be only numeric, right? So apart from these 4, what will I do? If I say the username should be only alphanumeric and it doesn't accept dollar percentile in the username and and exclamation in the username. So what will I do? Apart from this 4, I will also write few test cases for dollar, that's taking dollar percentile and okay. All right. So let's do a task. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Tell me how many test cases you will be writing for this. Oh, sorry. I was on mute. I'm extremely sorry. So what will I have? One with dollar, one with percentile, one with ampersand. So 3 test cases. A combination of all these 3 as 4th test case. A combination without having these 3. So that's my 5th test case. And then I got my other 4. So total 9 test cases will be there. Okay. So that's how you will be asked in the K4 section. It's not a rocket science. You will not be, you need not worry much that as well. Okay. It comes with a little practice. All right. So then as part of this training, we will give a lot of examples which will help you in analyzing it. Okay. So this the 4th section is most important for everyone. Out of the total number of questions, 40 questions, somewhere around 10 will be there for K4. Okay, so I mean, if you are really worried, the more the practice you do, it would be the better, right? The alternate for it is, as it is a multiple choice question, you will be able to easily analyze or understand what would be the best possible answer. So I don't want to go to that low level, but this training will at least help you to analyze it on a better way. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Someone was asking to repeat the K2 and K3. Okay. Now, again, let me take another example. So you got black box testing. These are few terminologies in testing, which you will know once you see the first two chapters of the foundation level. Parallelly, if you are already trained on software testing, it would be easy for you to understand these concepts. Let me know if someone is having problem in understanding these basic concepts. Everyone is on same page, right? Okay. Jignesh is asking, can you please explain the last example again? Okay. So the last example, I said the earlier requirement was username should accept 12 characteristics. Okay. There I didn't restrict on it being alphanumeric, and it doesn't accept dollar, percentile, and ampersand. Sorry, exclamation. Okay. So these three are my negative data, which means if my username has dollar, percentile, or exclamation, it will not take. It should throw an error message. So what will I do? I'll write a test case where username has dollar, another test case where my username has percentile, another test case where I have exclamation in it. So there are three test cases. A fourth test case will be all three in the same username, all three these characteristics. So that's my fourth. Fifth will be a username without these characteristics. So that's my 5 test cases. Sixth test case will be with 12 characteristics. Seventh will be 11. Eighth will be 13, and ninth will be 0 without any characteristic. So here total how many have come? 99 test cases minimum. Okay, so that's how I'll come to the analysis part. Hope it answered your question. What about if just two alphanumeric? Yeah, you can add it. So what I said is a minimum number of test cases. So these whatever you're saying, adding a combination of dollar and percentile or dollar plus exclamation, that's your extra test cases. I was talking about minimum number of test cases. Okay, coming back. So let's take black box testing. Okay. Now I have a requirement. Say suppose if age is less than 18, and married, uh, a, a person by gender female is not eligible for loan. Okay, and if age is more than 18 and married, if it is female or male, they are eligible for loan. Okay, everything else is on need basis. Any other logic or any other combinations, it would be on need basis. Now, if I have to do boundary value analysis for this, okay, you don't want on the boundary value analysis. Okay, let me take another example. What is the need? Okay, there's a question here in the what is the need of all three in one? If individual characters not accepted, it should not take combination also, right? You never know. You will have to test that also, right? You never know what is the logic, right? Hope you got the point. Yeah. Okay, let me take another example. Okay, so you understand the concept of retesting and regression testing. Everyone understands the concept? Yes, no? Ping me who doesn't understand the concept of retesting and regression. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's take a simple example. I have a release 1. Okay. As part of release 1, my requirement is to verify if the fund transfer link is available in the home page after logging into Citibank. So this is my release 1 requirement. Okay. Now as part of requirement, I should validate on web page on the app, okay, and then on the kiosk machines. So this is what I will have to test for release 1. Now what happened is, while testing, I found a defect on app. Okay, in that I am not having fund transfer link. Also, I found a defect when I'm testing on web page using Chrome browser. In Chrome browser, my link is not available. Okay. Now, part of this release itself, this is defect 1. Defect 1. This is defect 2. Okay. Now, defect 1 is fixed in the same release. Okay. Now, what will I do is, I will do retesting. So, if I'm testing in the same release, the defect that is fixed, then that is called as retesting. So, retesting is testing the defect fix test cases in the same release is called as retesting. Okay, whereas defect 2 is deferred and was fixed in release 2. So release 2, defect 2 is fixed. Now what should I do? I should validate. If I'm testing this fix in defect in release 2, what am I doing? I'll have to retest everything of release 1. So that is called as regression. Not entire suite, but the major functionality if you are testing, then that is called as regression. So if you are testing the same test cases in the next release, then that's called as regression. Whereas retesting is, you are testing in the same release. Okay, cycle 1, cycle 2 kind of thing. Okay, so this is what the difference between regression and retesting. So the question will be, So second, K2 will be, do you understand the difference between retesting and regression? K3 will be, the same example will be asked and the question will be, if the fix is given on same release for defect 1, are you doing regression or retesting? So what should be the answer? Yes, so it is retesting. Alright? Okay. People are asking about regression again. Okay. So when I am testing defect 2 in release 2, right? What should I test? The defect is about the link not available in Chrome browser. Okay, so for this to come to the fund transfer link, what should I do? I should go to the login page in Chrome browser, give valid credentials, come to the home page, see whether fund transfer link is there or not. This is how I will do, right? But this verification is already done in release 1, right? So what are you doing here? You are taking the high level test cases, the flow test cases, and you are testing it again in the second release. So those test cases are called as regression test cases in release 2 because they are already tested in release 1. Okay. So that's the difference between retesting and regression. Now, if K4 is asked for the same question, say suppose for web page, in web page for Chrome browser, you wrote 10 test cases. These include like combinations of invalid username, valid password, or valid username, invalid password. All these combinations you will be writing in for Chrome browser, say suppose. But when you are doing regression, right, you need not validate all those combinations. What you need to validate just is whether you are able to log in or not, and in the home page, are you able to see the fund transfer link or not. So out of these 10, only 3 or 4 test cases you will be validating in the second release. As part of analysis questions, right? So they'll ask, say suppose you got 10 test cases in release 1 for this requirement. As part of regression, how many you will be using? Something on similar lines. Got it? Or it's confusion? I know at this point it would be a bit confusion, but as and when the classes go on, you will have a fair idea about it. Okay, it comes with practice. So all these sort of questions will be provided as part of this training, and you will be able to understand what exactly it is about. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So the second section that we were discussing was the syllabus. Okay. So as I said earlier, the foundation level has 6 main chapters, which are divided in terms of K1, K2, and K3. Okay, and K4. So each section, okay, will have the whatever the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there, right? Each test, what do you say? Each course content is divided based on this K1. If you see software testing context, so K1, which means these are more of terminologies. Causes of software defects, it is termed as your understanding, K2. So each topic is divided into what is it? K1, K2, K3, K4. Okay. So as I said, fundamentals of testing is first chapter. Then testing throughout the software lifecycle, that's K2, which is more of your understanding about the lifecycle. Then the static techniques. So what are the techniques? How do you do it? How do you do the analysis part? So that's again your understanding. So that is chapter 3. Fourth is more of your analysis part. How do you design the testing? Say suppose as we discussed earlier, right? So I got a requirement. How do you write your test cases? So you will write your test case based on a combination like boundary value analysis, positive test cases, negative test cases. So you got some techniques for it. So those techniques are more of your analysis part. So fourth chapter is K4. And then you got fifth chapter. This is test management. Okay. How do you apply? Okay. This is more of K3. So how do you manage the project? So if it is a regression suit, how will you do? If it's a black box testing, how will you do? If there is a severity one, priority one defect, what should be your approach? So all these things will be mentioned in fifth chapter. The last one is supporting the tools, supporting tools information. Okay. So how do you do? So say suppose you want ALM application. How do you link your requirements to your test cases? If there is a defect, how you link your defect to the respective test case and thereby to the respective requirement. Okay. So at the end of the testing, how many requirements have been tested, or the end of the cycle, how many test cases have been. So those will be defined in the sixth chapter. Okay. So all these 6 chapters will help you in understanding the basics of testing and how do you apply your testing knowledge into real-time problems. This, at the end of the course, you will have mock test on these 6 chapters, which implies all the 4 K points. The K levels which we were discussing so far is an indirect implication. All right. So this is it about what that you will be expecting from this training. A combination of tech theory plus the practical or the actual application of the testing concepts. Okay, so I'm open for the question and answers. If you got any questions and answers, I mean, if you have any questions, please post them. If you would want to speak, please raise your hands. I'll unmute you and you can speak out. How many classes per week there will be for this training? Minimum 3 classes per week. Okay. Khadija, this is part of JPact. JPact users can also use this. Others can as well. Meenal, white box testing is testing with the coding. Yes, you are correct. So if you have fair idea about how the UI is developed, so UI will be developed using either Java or .NET or some other coding language. Okay. So if you see our example, say username is there, right? And in the example that we were discussing, username takes only 12 characteristics. So from the front end, what you see is you will give the values in that text box. Whereas backend, how the code will be written is I'll have an object saying username, which is the text box, and I'll define the minimum and maximum 1, 12. That's my coding, and this particular value is coming from a table, respective table in the database, and the correct database connection should be given. So these are my white box test cases. Okay, whereas my black box test case are enter this value, one username with 0, enter with 1, enter with 12. Okay, so that would be my black box test cases. All right. No other questions? I don't see any questions at all. Okay, can I simply say regression testing is checking about the new defects that may have introduced during the time and changing the code for solving the other defects? No, no. Regression testing is I have tested this already as part of a different release, and I'm now re-verifying if if there is an impact of the code that has been already has newly added or any defect fix that are done as part of the next release. Okay. In another way, what half of your question is correct. Okay. Hope you got the point now. Okay. See, testing is very simple. See, if you understand the function, if you have a fair idea about what is this project about, what is the flow, and if you start preparing the flow diagram, the conditions, it is very, 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 very easy. Okay. The only problem will be using the applying the knowledge of it in the real time scenarios. Okay. And how efficiently you will be handling those problems. As simple as that. Okay. Someone wanted the definition to be written. Okay. Regression testing. This is a type of testing which verifies if the code base that was already developed is not impacted because of new or changes to the existing code. Okay. So you will not be verifying whatever you have done earlier, not every test case, each and every test case, but high level functionality that was present in the previous release or previous code. Okay, how much does this training cost? The training cost perspective, I'm not the correct person, Kamal. Please touch base with the sales guys. They will be the correct right persons to answer. Okay. I'm extremely sorry. I'm not into this. Okay. How many types of testing? Testing is mainly of two types: black box and white box. Okay. Under black box, you got functional testing, regression testing, retesting, static testing, dynamic testing. So there are multiple types. So on a high level, there are only two types: black box and white box. Okay, Jignesh, the same question. Getting ISTQB certificate, do you think? Yes, you will get an entry level job you will have a better probability than you're just being trained. Trained plus certification will help you to get you'll become a bright prospect for getting a job. Okay, is it mandatory to learn testing basics and manual testing before the ISTQB? Yes, Teja, it's mandatory. Okay, and that would be done as part of this training. See, this training will touch base all the concepts on a high level. But if you would like to have an in-depth one, then you will have to take the manual testing live training that was done already, or there's one more live training that will be happening in the next month. So if you want that in detail, then you take that and come back and take the examination. Okay. During the course, will we be explained about these like regression testing and more kinds of testing? I was wondering. Yeah, this would be explained. Yes. ISTQB majorly is about manual testing, right? Mm, which programming language we need to learn for higher chances to get job? Which programming language? Okay. See, it's more of automation tool. If you are into automation tool, okay. Say suppose you are using Selenium, then Java is what that you should know. If you are using UFT, then VB scripting is that you should know. So it depends on the tool that you are. Ideally, these days you see many of the web applications developed on Java, right? So having a fair idea about Java will help you. Okay. Okay, so there was a question about what is the cost of foundation level examination. See, if you are in US, right, it would cost you $250. Okay, so it depends again. Okay, let me open the website. It will give you a fair idea. Okay, this is a site where you can go and look into it, and you will have a fair idea about. Okay, for US citizens, whereas in India it is istqb.in. Okay. Can automation scripts be written in another language without using any specific tools? I see many job ads asking for Python. Python is, see, if you are into database testing, okay, or if you are mainly using Unix commands, right? Unix based environment, it is Python will be the correct language. Okay. So Python can be embedded into UFT tool. You can write scripting using Python in UFT. Even in Selenium also, you can use Python scripting. Okay, so it depends on the type of job. And for me, if Python is being asked, it is more of database or Unix interaction testing. Okay. See, again, I'm telling you, for others, see, there are two types of testing. One is the front-end application testing. The other is back-end testing. So if the type of project is more of front-end testing or the GUI testing, having a knowledge on VB scripting or Java is more than enough. Basic Java, not the core Java. Okay. Whereas if you are more interacting with the backend systems like database, Unix box, Linux boxes, etc., there you will need to have extra like Perl scripting or Python. Okay, so these are your value add languages. Okay, again I'm telling you, you need not have each and everything, or you need not to have a complete understanding about the language. The basic commands, how do you read them, how do you retrieve like the global objects, the local objects, okay, function calling. These basics, if you understand, it would be very easy. Okay, yeah. So as a tester, you need not have a complete understanding about the tool. Does this training includes manual testing or manual training for testing, or only theoretical knowledge of testing? This is more of theory, Kamal, plus some practical examples or real-time examples. We will simulate the real-time examples, okay? But as the time duration is limited, we will not be doing the complete one. So if you want to have a detailed sessions, then please take the uh, manual testing live training session classes, okay? Yeah, so Radhika, right. So it depends on the type of projects that are running that are running. So C Sharp, Selenium, yeah. As I said, right, if the code is developed, if the application is developed using C Sharp or Java or .NET, that that will make sure, I mean, that implies that your automation tool has to be developed using that particular code itself, because it will be in sync, right? Identifying the objects will be easy. Say I have C sharp code and I'm writing my what is say automation scripts using Java. It is not that easy to identify all the objects that are written using C sharp, right? So it doesn't make sense using your automation scripts with Java rather than with C sharp. Okay. Yeah. It's more like compatibility. That's it. As simple as that. How the exam will be conducted once live training is over, we will get an email for certification. You mean from our end or ISTQB end? From IT Learn, we will not give any certification as such. Uh, but Karthik has a fair idea that he wanted to give a certification saying that you are trained from IT Learn. I'll have to check with Karthik. At this moment, we will not provide any certification as such. See, again, I'm telling you, ISTQB is worldwide accepted. I would suggest you to take ISTQB. That would be the correct certification. You getting from IT Learn or any other what's it, training institute. That doesn't, ideally speaking, will not be a correct one. I mean, in the sense, it is not uh, worth also. But Karthik is looking for making it as a standard. So let's see how it goes. Any mock test at the end of the course? Yes, we will have at least a couple of them at the end of course. So the plan is at the end of each chapter you will have a mock test, and at the end of the course you will have a couple of mock tests. Okay, Meenal. Okay. Yes, Meenal.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Actually, the question is, you said like we'll give for the certification we have to write an exam. Like you said like that right yesterday.
The one.
Yesterday class, the poll exam.
Oh, no. Okay, so you got me confused. So you got me wrong. See, what I was telling is for each chapter that we undertake as part of this exam, as part of this training, right? You will have a mock test that being conducted. Okay, that will give
Okay.
you a fair idea how the real time, how it happens in ISTQB exam also. It will prepare you
Okay.
for that.
Okay. That exam is from IT learn side, right? The mock test.
Yes, it's from IT Learn, sir. Yes, right.
Okay, that's what I need because you said the certification also will get and all. You said something like that, so I got a little confused with that.
No. I was saying that you will have a fair idea about how the ISTQB certification will be there, how the exam will look like.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. How is the job market on ISTQB? Khadija is asking. Yes, as I said, if there are two persons, one with knowledge on uh, manual testing but not certified, and the other with knowledge on manual testing plus certified by ISTQB, then there is 100% probability of getting job for the one who is certified by ISTQB. Okay. Second, Indu, the same pattern as ISTQB is followed in the mock test as well. It would be more on K1, K2, K3, K4. All the 4 levels will be tested. Okay. And then industry we cannot change the times because these are the timings planned considering the entire audience. And tomorrow we have an ETL live project session also. So considering both of that, we have kept it. Okay. All right. Any other questions before I wind up? ETL is extract transform logic. It's a data warehouse testing, more of database and data warehouse. It's one type of testing which is budding, which is more demand now these days. Apart from automation testing, that's one another type. Another area of testing. Okay. Yes, paid sessions are starting from tomorrow, Indu. When will ETL live training starts? Radhika, it's already completed. Live project has been started. We will plan another live training maybe in the month of May, April, May. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for joining today's session. We'll see you back tomorrow. Yeah, this recorded sessions will be there on YouTube as well. The first and the orientation as well as this session. Okay, you can look them into them. But today's session will be rolled out at the end of the day because it will take some couple of hours to complete the compression part. Okay. Oh, thank you. All right. Thanks everyone for joining today's session. See you. Bye bye. Good night. Good day.